G'day everyone, welcome back to Natsnackersyard, or Nat's Dining Room I suppose really. What we're going to do in this little instalment is to go from this, which is my tank, 2k clear is now nice and cured and actually looking pretty good, to this, which is the finished product. So how we rub it down, it's not perfect, there is the odd, I never claimed to get perfect, I never claimed anything else, but that's pretty damn good. Now before I do crack on with this, and I'm going to drop you in and out whilst doing it rather than force you watch somebody rub something down, it's struggling to focus because it's nice and shiny, and it's a personal point. I am not saying you need to do this, dirty fingers. That looks fab, and actually I have nothing against anybody just chucking out on a bike and cracking on. You have a petrol proof lacquer over some cool paint. What I'm after though is something a little bit smarter, so I do want to rub it down, and by rub it down, it's as heartbreaking as it seems taking sandpaper or wet and dry to fresh, really quite beautiful paint. It is very wet, 1200 grit. I would not go any lower than 1200 grit personally. I know you can and people do, but it hurts me to do any lower than that. So I'm going to do 1200 really wet. Now I'm talking over the kitchen sink wet. You want to keep this really wet, and as you are rubbing it, every time you hear a zhuzh or a mark or a noise, rub it down, wash it down, etc, etc, because it just means you've got a bit of grit, a bit of crap or something that's come off the paper or come off the tank, and if you keep going, you're just going to rub it into the paint and make big swirls and scratches. So if you hear a strange noise, stop, rinse it off, carry on going. So 1200, I tend to do 1200, 2000, 2500, and then like a super fine cloth over the top, just to get it down before I then go on to cutting compound, colour restorer, and then ultimately polish right at the end. So I'm going to drop you in once I've done the 1200. 1200 takes a long time. There is a lot of surface area here, and this stuff is hard. You do not want to be pushing it hard. You want to be doing it soft and take your time. So several passes over, not just wipey, 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 check, wipey, wipey, check. You cannot tell when it's dry, when it's wet. You do need to get a paper towel, skim it across, and what you're trying to get away from is having lots of sort of freckles or glittery surfaces in there, but I'll show you some of that as I go through. Cool. Okay, so after a fair amount of time over the sink, that's first pass of 1200 done. Come on camera, keep up. And it's not too bad. Just when you're doing it, it's not pushing down, it is weight of your hand, weight of the sponge, and just keep going. Just take your time, stick your YouTube on, watch it while you do it. Over the sink, every time you hear something scratching, dunk it out, swap it over, because it just means you're going to be pushing in a bit of grit, and carry on going, carry on going. Now this is what you were trying to get rid of. You can just see those little flecks. Looks like there's glitter in it. Just need another pass to try and get that a little bit lower, and I'm going to carry on with my 1200 because it's before I start moving down. I want to get rid of a bit more of this before we go up a scale. It doesn't all have to all go, but it all needs to be gone in the end. You see a little bit, it's on the edges. I'm just a bit cautious where I'm meeting one plane of paint or another, or indeed where I'm meeting an edge. If you burn through an edge, you're a bit fucked. All you can really do is just, chuck a bit of paint over the tape and carry on. But we're getting there. We're getting there. It's a long, slow process. So, don't try and do it in a rush. You will cock it up. Have a go. When you get bored, just step away from it a while and then come back to it, which is exactly what I'm going to do now. Right, so that's after a second go. I'm getting that, what I tend to refer to as like a bowling ball shine, you know, a flat shine on most of it. There are bits where I'm not, there's bits where I want to be careful not to rub through the colour. So I'm going to drop go up, I should say, a scale and go to 2000 grit for the next wet one. Then 2.5, then the sponge, and then probably drop you in and see where we are and if I need to revisit any particular areas. Cool, yeah. And there we go, that is post 1200, 2000, 2500, a fine sponge and my cutting compound. Now the reason why I'm here in a strange position, i.e. in my dining room, is it's probably got the best light in the house. What I just want to do, I'm just looking for any flecks that are left that I might have to go back and do 1200 and just work 1200, 2000, 2500. My camera is really struggling because I'm just staring at a massive colour and there's nothing for it to focus on. But I think I'm good. I've got some tiny flecks around the edge, but frankly I would rather have a little bit of flecking around there than overdo it with sandpaper and go through colour. That would be heartbreaking. And I'm pretty good. I've had a good look in various lights and I don't think I need to revisit. So I will start getting some polish on this. Now I like to use Meguiar's colour restorer first, just to bring the colour through before I go anywhere near it with wax or any sort of carnauba polish. Now I use tech wax generally. Now if I use tech wax now, it would just seal in what's a good finish, that's fine. It will just seal it in, whereas what I want to try and do is bring the colours out a bit more first. So I'm going to do that and then we'll see how we get on. Right, so there we are after a couple of coats of Meguiar's colour restorer. And by a couple of coats I'm talking, you know, a drill with a sponge and a mop head on it, slightly damp sponge, and just go for it. I tend to hand buff rather than use the drill to buff, but that's purely and simply because I'm paranoid about burning through, so getting too hot while I'm doing it. So right, I've got other shit to do, but then I'm going to chuck on the top and see how we get on. The top coat, the polish proper rather than the colour restorer. Okay, and there we go. That's after a couple of bits of final polish, and it's looking, you know, pretty good. I am really rather chuffed with that. Now I find that fresh paint is incredibly thirsty, so I'm not going to chuck it straight on the bike. I am just going to have it as is for a little while and see how we get on. I've got a couple of bits I need to do on the bike first, including sort out that the exhaust stub, so I'd pull out the one that's a bit that's loose, and do the helicoil action on it, which I may film, I might not, because it's so awkward to get to. I just have to see how it goes, and I don't want to start putting paintwork and things like that on a bike until it is properly sorted. So that might have to do me for now, but stay tuned and we'll see how this looks put together. Oh, struggling to focus. How this looks put together. Cheers all, I'll catch you later. Ta-da. No, I can't do that to you, can I? Can't do that to myself as much as anything else. I've put him back together. But before I show you, you can see a little bit of a sneak there. I have had the exhaust off. I have sorted out that stud and put in a helicoil in it. I've also replaced the seals around the gasket, or the gasket seals for the exhaust. That one just wouldn't come out, but I got it out eventually. So the exhaust all nipped up. I did that off camera because I just wanted to get it done quick. No, not quick. I wasn't half jobbing it. I wanted to get it done because I wanted to put this together, because I wanted to see how it looked. And the answer is pretty fucking sweet, I think. That is pretty much exactly the look that I was going for. Looks like I've got a bit of soft focus going on there. Clean the lens a bit, there we go. That's pretty much exactly what I was going for. I am so chuffed with that. I think that looks good. Paintwork is good. It's not perfect, there's some micro scratches in there that are difficult to pick up on a camera actually, but I can see them. My own greatest critic as usual. I've also throughout the week had that radiator off. While I had to do the helicoil, I took the radiator off, chucked some paint on there as well, so it was a bit rough and ready across the top. So yeah, we're not far off, people. I think he's looking pretty smart. I'll chuck some pictures up later, but yeah, I've got a good it's a good shine. It's a nice stripe. The taps come up quite nicely. The fuel caps come up nicely and blends in even better. That big thick black stripe down the middle. And look at that. That looks pretty fucking cool. We're not there yet. There's always things to do. It's currently dry of coolant because obviously I had to drop the radiator. I dropped the radiator to get to the exhaust. So I need to top up the coolant. So jobs for the next few days: coolant, carbs. By carbs I want to balance them, so I haven't plumbed in the tank yet. It's just on and fixed on, you know, pretty securely, but not completely done. So I need to take the tank off. I need to balance the carbs because I did do them a little bit by eye, man, and they need sorting. So balance the carbs. Then I want to put the tank back on. I need to bleed the back brake properly. I did it quickly and I've done it really badly, and it's not catching. But okay, it's nothing I can't sort out. So I need to bleed the back brake. Then once I've got that, I want to take it on down the hill, and I want it to move for the first time in this frame. I think that'll be the first time. Well, no. Maybe not in this frame, but certainly in this skin. And then I want to do pre-MOT checks because I think he's nearly there. He is nearly there. Right, that'll do me. I'm going to chuck up some photos, but thanks for watching. Thanks for being as impatient as me, and foregoing my helicoil action so that I can get this bad boy together. I'll chuck up some pictures. Cheers all. Catch you later.